Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Fan Circle. It's the Super Sunday show, and we're here to talk about Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. And yeah, things are not great. We've once again let another lead slip, especially at home. Some of the games that we have let slip from leading positions. Brighton at the start of the season 1-1. Liverpool 2-2, and now Aston Villa 2-2. There's been others away from home, Man City away from home 2-2 from winning position, but a point away from home is generally a good thing against your big rivals. And Chelsea away from home 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. There's been quite a few other draws in there. Everton 0-0, Fulham 1-1. So yeah, we have only lost 2 games all season, but we have drawn far too many games. So Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2, and it's the swings and roundabouts, right? Fine margins in the Premier League because Liverpool found a way in the end against Brentford to get the win through Darwin Núñez, and Arsenal found a way to give away 2 goals at the Emirates when they were in control of that game after 60 minutes. And Aston Villa have been a proverbial thorn in our side, and we have obviously beaten them on occasions, but also they have hurt us, notably last season at home when Bailey scored that goal. Yuri Tillemans, once again, Tony will tell me, it's a player that I did want, a player that I did rate, and Yuri Tillemans is a good player for Aston Villa. And once again, Ollie Watkins, an Arsenal supporter, has stuck the dagger in Arsenal once again. I think he scored 5 or 6 times now against Arsenal. So, like I've been saying, firepower needed. And if Arsenal are to go on and separate from the likes of Liverpool and the likes of Manchester City in title races, we need a more consistent flow of goals from an individual, from a striker or a forward, other than Bukayo Saka. Liverpool have Mo Salah, and they struggle from time to time. They struggle from time to time if Mo Salah does not turn up or is held. But occasionally they have Luis Diaz, they have Cody Gakpo, they have Jota, and they have Darwin Núñez. So Arsenal need to surround themselves with players where they will get production. And we have got production from Trossard in this game at home to Aston Villa. 2 assists, creating goals for Martinelli and Havertz. So the players definitely stepped forward in the forward positions and took up the responsibility with Bukayo Saka being out. Who should be joining us today? Hopefully Tony will join us a little bit later, and Gary will be joining us. I'm not sure about Alonso, but this is going to be a quick one in any case, because there is a big game coming up at 3 o'clock here in about 45 minutes from now. Arsenal have given me some heartache in these last 2 weekends, last 2 Sundays, losing inexplicably against Manchester United, and we see what Manchester United can do in the league, barely scraping by Southampton at home and losing today against Brighton. And Tottenham, we've seen what Tottenham have done, right, in recent games. We beat a very poor Tottenham because they have gone and lost to Everton. So where does this leave Arsenal? This leaves Arsenal with confidence very, very shaky, with the absolute need for the club to spend money on a forward, on a striker. The eggs that we are coming home to roost, right? The chickens are coming home to roost from the summer. We did go out and buy depth in our squad in the summer. We got Neto. Our goalkeeping situation was tricky with Ramsdale. He's gone to Southampton, and we saw him make a mistake against Nottingham Forest today. We brought in Neto, a player who's cup tied, so we definitely need to address the goalkeeping situation in the summer again. We brought in Calafiori, a player with some promise, suspect defensively at times, but was supposed to be depth in our squad. And he's been found to be one of those injury-prone players. He's had some struggles this season with injury, and Mikel Marino he's been out as well. Marino has been out for some games as well, but he's also struggled to make an impact at the Emirates. And we won't not even going to talk about the goal that was disallowed, because I'll tell you what, if that was any other team but Arsenal, that goal would stand. But there you go. The rivals and media and our rivals want to say, here we go, Arsenal complaining again, crying about things. So I'm not even going to mention that anymore. So yeah, Arsenal got themselves into a 2-2 position against Aston Villa. Things were going quite well. I predicted and I felt that Kai Havertz would step forward and get a goal. He did get a goal in the second half. And following up from Martinelli's opening goal, which was what we deserved from the first half, is taking at least a 1-0 lead. Mings or one of the other defenders was nudged, not very much, by Kai Havertz coming up to the halftime whistle. Puts his hand in the air and grabs the ball. The referee was more than lenient in some of his adjudication of that game. Did not award a penalty. Mr. Tom, good evening. BX Gunner, thanks for being here. Throw in the comments that you have about this team. I'm heartened by George Graham's speech in 1990. I posted that a little while ago. You know, we're not second bottom. We're second top. We have to keep remembering that. Although it feels like a loss, we didn't lose against Aston Villa. We're not second bottom. We're second top. And back then, the media were enjoying Arsenal's problems. Right now, the media does enjoy Arsenal's problems as well. Rival fans are more vocal now on social media. So Arsenal fans have to stick together in this situation. We have to be real, and we have to realize the extent of the injuries at the club right now. Let me list some of the injuries. Gabriel Jesus out for the rest of the season with a ruptured ACL. Bukayo Saka, some say he may not be even back for the rest of the season, but I think mid-March is what he's slated to be back with a torn hamstring. Ethan Nwaneri, one of these players who has been coming to the fore as one of the academy kids coming through. Ethan Nwaneri, who showed promise, scored 5 or 6 goals across competitions. William Saliba is the big one now. And all reports are pointing to William Saliba being out for a couple of weeks. So we've got a couple of Champions League games sandwiched in either side of a trip to Wolverhampton Wanderers, a trip to Molineux. We will not have Saliba for those games. So he's slated to come back for the Man City game at home. And we've seen what Man City have done today, albeit against Ipswich. And you're right, Mr. Tom, Ipswich let you down again. There is a parallel universe where Ipswich beat Man City 1-0. But that in reality, it was many, many times the opposite today. And Man City are starting to get some traction, get some feet under them. And I actually think they're fortifying in this January window, because they are going to be embargoed with a transfer ban. They're preparing for whatever charges are going to come down against them. 115 charges, which we have to hear. We have to hear a judgment on. But yeah, what Man City will we face in a couple of weeks' time? Where Arsenal, we are the Arsenal. We cannot give up. It's mid-January. There's 4 months of football to be played. There's 16 games to be played in the Premier League. We are Arsenal. We cannot give up in the title race. We have to keep going. And it's disheartening that swings and roundabouts of this season have allowed us to trade draws and wins between Liverpool and ourselves for the last 2 months, last 6 weeks. Beginning of December, a 9 point gap opened up, or 6 points with a game in hand, whatever way we want to look at it. And we have not been able to claw back any of that ground. It has been very, very, very poor in the 12 games that we have. We have been unbeaten in 12 league games. But what's poor about that is that we have drawn 5 of those 12 games. We've won 7 for 21 points and add 5 draws in for 26. We've taken 26 points from 36. And, that's in any other, against City, this would not be enough. Liverpool would not have been able to keep pace with this City team from years ago. But right now, we need to separate ourselves from Liverpool, and Liverpool have been walking in step with us for the last 12 games. They've gathered this same amount of points as well. So listen, there is negatives, right? With Ben White, to continue the injury list here, Ben White has been out since early December. Should be coming back. A player that I just mentioned, Calafiori, he's been out for a number of weeks. It's very difficult to target players who will come into the club injury-free. These are the unfortunate circumstances of our season. Tomiyasu is another one who's been out for the majority of the season. We're starting to realize with Tomiyasu, he's a player who will have injuries. So, there is at least 7 players there that I've mentioned. Jesus, Saka, Waneri. Those are your attacking options. And we are very, very light in the attacking options, so much so that the club needs to go out in the January sales and go and bring a Sasko in or a Gyökeres. The back line, Saliba, White, Calafiori, and Tomiyasu. And especially now when it comes to Ben White and Tomiyasu, we're asking Jurriën Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly to carry a lot of the weight of minutes at the back. I do have an issue, and we've always had an issue, and Gary has especially had an issue with Mikel Arteta choosing to play Thomas Partey at right back. It's something that has never really been satisfactory, has never really worked for us. And I think our record is something like 1 win in 6 when Thomas Partey has started at right back. You can say it's due to injuries. You can say it's due to Ben White and Calafiori being out and Tomiyasu being out, that we're stretched in the fullback areas. But also to move players around in our back four just to try to accommodate Thomas Partey at right back has been a mistake, and is something that Mikel Arteta needs to realize. The hope is that the injuries will clear up. Ben White should be coming back soon. Tomiyasu should be coming back soon, and Calafiori should be coming back soon. So the hope is that those injuries clear up, and the likes of Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly are not being overplayed. But we can see the top teams are now struggling with minutes. Their players are getting tired. That Liverpool team, I mean, they're going to be lauded for keeping going and being persistent and getting the win in the end. But they look tired as well. Um, let's look at things. There's another positive as well I wanted to bring to the table here before we get into the chats, and let me know what you think about this. I've been saying for a time that the Liverpool team, they are the same team as they were last season, and they were in a title race up until April. So if Arsenal are good enough, and if we can overcome these injuries, and keep going, because it feels like yesterday feels like a loss, but it was not a loss. We drew. Um, take those two fixtures that we just played into account, and take the exact same fixtures from last season. Well, last season we drew 2-2 with Tottenham at the Emirates. We all remember Jorginho making a mistake. We drew 2-2 with Tottenham at the Emirates when they were going well. This season, we beat this Tottenham team who are flailing in the lower reaches of the Premier League. I think there's 15th and 17th Tottenham and Manchester United. They're down there right now. So that we have gained 2 points from last season on that Tottenham fixture alone. We drew last year and we won this year. That's +2, right? We take this Aston Villa fixture, albeit a very disappointing draw, but we did lose to Aston Villa at the Emirates last season. So we've actually gained a point in the overall picture. It doesn't feel like it because Liverpool have gotten a really good start on us for these first 22 games. Look at Liverpool's fixtures. They have won a lot of the big games. They have won, and they started off pretty fast in the first 10, 15 games, beating the likes of Brentford at home, beating the likes of Chelsea at home, beating the likes of Brighton at home, and beating Man City at home, right? But there's a lot of games that they're going to have to play away from home. And there's a lot of games that Arsenal are going to have to play away from home. But Arsenal have played a lot of their away games already against the top teams. So I'm expecting things to switch around a little bit. But Arsenal have to come through these injury issues. And I see Stephen say this, yeah. Listen, you're exactly right. Ray, this team is missing a lot up front and in management. Stephen, I think if Mikel Arteta and the club have not gone out and bought the striker that we all wanted, everybody in this chat box right now, chat room, and everybody on this panel, and a lot of Arsenal fans, we have been asking for. If we get a striker forward, that will almost add 0.75 expected goals. Look at Alexander Isak. You're almost certain he's going to score for you. If Arsenal go out and sign a premium striker. Hi, Gary.
Hello. Go ahead, continue your thought. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, if Arsenal go out and sign this striker, that we haven't done anything in the first 17, 18 days here. And we've got 12 or 13 days left in the window. But if Arsenal go out and get this striker, it's going to alleviate a lot of the management issues, because when you don't get results and you don't win games, the manager comes under scrutiny. Go ahead, Gary.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ray. Thanks for having me on. Everybody in the chat,
thing.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I was listening to you, and then I just lost my train of thought. What were you?
All right, I'll continue. I'm basically okay. We're really, really disappointed in this draw in a couple of contexts, right? I'll go back to you, Gary, because you have been very strong in saying that we have dropped a lot of points from winning positions.
Yep.
We've drawn way too many games from winning positions. And that might be the Achilles heel in our season. That might be it. It might be done. But we can't give up right now, because we're 6 points behind Liverpool with one game more played. We still have to continue to try to get through this injury crisis. We still have to try to um, get our squad back. We still have to go and get a player. We all know we need a player. There's nothing going to happen this season. We're not going to win anything this season if we don't sign somebody in the next 12, 13 days. I believe, anyway. Um, we have, but with all that in context, we've beaten Tottenham in the week, and we drew with Villa. Those are two results that we had um, negative feelings about last season. We drew 2-2 with Tottenham. Well, we beat them this season. Last season we lost to Villa. We got a point yesterday. Feels like a loss for everybody, and the win was taken away from us. I'm not even going to touch that because I can see where you could go either way on that one. Right now, take Liverpool in these last two games. They beat Brentford last season handily, and they came up with a win yesterday. They beat Nottingham Forest away from home very, very late as well, if you remember that one last season. They drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest. So they've actually dropped 2 points in these two games. I see the pendulum starting to swing a little bit, and we're not seeing it in real time because of these 6 points and the game in hand. But I'm seeing if Arsenal hang in there, we can make this a close race. You know, that's
Yep.
all I've got, Gary.
Yeah. No, I mean, as you said, I mean, and as we're seeing, the draws are killing us now. I mean, I'd rather take those draws and then split them, wins and losses, and we're better off for it.
Yep.
We have more points for it.
Yep.
But this one was a little bit different than the other ones in the sense that they drew late, which is, I guess they drew late in the other games as well. But this one, you have a 2-0 lead as opposed to a 1-0 lead or a 1-goal lead. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
A 2-goal lead, you should be able to hold on and win that one, and you should be able to continue to put pressure on them. And after we scored that second goal, it almost looked like if we set okay, you have a choice. Either we let our guard down because that was what was asked of them, or we let our guard down because they were tired. Either case, you would hope the manager, after seeing this at least 6 times this season, would have had a different answer to what he was seeing on the field.
Yeah.
They were getting into their attacking third really easy, putting a lot of pressure on us, and eventually they get the goals, and that's from a couple of things. I mean, they get a lot of time and space on the ball to make those crosses. And then we just weren't able to keep up with their attackers as they were running at the line. And these are things we don't do. So obviously they don't know how to stop it because we don't make those runs and crosses at the same time, where you see a cross and a run at the same time where we can run on the end of it and score. So it's as much as we can blame Partey. I mean, we needed him to make a one play. That was one. Someone could say, you know what, you can't blame him because he's not a right back. But I don't think if he did that in the midfield, it'd be the same thing because that's what Moreno did. Moreno let Tielemans run off of him and beat him to the ball. So in either case, it's still you have to win your duels, right? Your one-on-ones. I mean,
and
Watkins is there by himself. You can't just leave him.
That one case is a midfielder trying to play offside, so he's trying to step up.
But he's got to know where he is. He's got to know where he is. Like he's playing offsides when you're.
Why do we end up with, in the case of Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final, why does Odegaard end up marking Isak for that first goal? Why does Thomas Partey end up marking Watkins for the equalizer? You know, these are crazy things that are happening. And look, I'm just gonna say this now because I just thought about it. Our set piece coach should be working on the defensive side of it as well, not just the offensive side of it, because set pieces work in both directions. You know what I mean? And as much as you want to give Nicolas Joubert kudos for us being the most potent side in set pieces, we have to be able to defend better in those situations as well. I'm not sure if that was a set piece, but it felt like a set piece. The last 20 minutes of this game became kind of a haze to me because you're thinking it's 2-2 and this game can now go anyway. And it was really on a knife edge. They could have won it. We could have won it. In the end, ends up in a draw. And, it's another point that if you draw too many games in the league, used to be maybe if you draw too many games in the league with Man City around, you're going to get punished. You might have a little bit extra leeway with Liverpool, but we are running out of rope, Gary, to help ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And for me, I always tell you, can we get just a little bit better from one game to the next?
Yeah.
But this is the sixth game, and this happened in the third game of the season that we need to close that Seattle game, and we haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, and things we could do. Jorginho, bring Jorginho on, bring Kivior on.
Yeah, bring Tierney on. I mean, you brought Tierney on already in past games. Yes. Why was he not an option for you to bring on and maybe move things around? I don't know. I think I'd rather have Partey play right back. I'm sorry, Rice play right back than Partey. That was a really
don't
bad
clip that up. Do not clip that up on Gary.
That was a really bad slip there.
You said it.
I'd rather have Rice play on the back line. Let's just say that.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Maybe move things around in that sense. I feel like Timber and Skelly can play fullbacks regardless of the size. So, I think Rice. I know I talked about this yesterday with Sam, and he hasn't played corner, center back in a while. But for me, it's not working. So you need to do something different. Partey at right back. We've won one game out of 6, and we've only dropped points in 10 games. So the margins are that much that maybe if you put in a different player, maybe we'll get a better result, especially late in games. Because if you've got a lead late in games and you switch up more defensively, because you know how these things play out, maybe you secure the 3 points. But we just play until we get beat, and then we don't even make the changes defensively anyway. So
we need to be in a situation where we're leading the game, which we have been.
We've been leading in at least 6 games, and we've seen them all go away.
And then they say, you're making substitutions to shore up keep what you have, right?
Yep.
Have it and hold it. BX Gunner said, in all honesty, I'm not mad at the draw because I know why it happened and knew beforehand. I thought we might lose all the points at one stage. It was an open game, in my opinion, a 50-50.
Yeah, but that's after 60 minutes. That's not before 60 minutes.
No.
I mean, it's closing out games. I mean, we're talking like we've dropped points in the last 30 minutes.
In a lot of games.
And when we're chasing a goal to get up, we're making defensive changes. Now our defense has slipped for a 10-minute spell, and we don't. We think the defense will hold up. Like it makes no sense. We kind of do things the opposite way. You're chasing a goal, you bring in defensive subs. Your defense has been lapsed for a bit, and you don't make any defensive moves. I kind of feel like got to do something different. We can't keep playing the same way.
BX Gunner has an astute point here. Raya and Gabriel were the only 2 defenders in their positions of the 5. So we did this again, Gary. We've done this versus Liverpool with Saliba out. We had to go with numerous positions.
But we can't keep saying, "Oh, if Saliba's out, then we that's why we have to at some point have an answer for when Saliba's out." And that means we're more condensed in a way that we set up so that they don't get these open runs at us.
And that's probably Timber and Tomiyasu are the Saliba replacements. And with Tomiyasu and White being injured, we didn't have a recognized right back. You know what I mean? And it's not good. But when you have injuries and you have injury-prone players such as Tomiyasu, especially, that's hurting the club a little bit, in my opinion. Assemble in the house. Miss Molina's here. Evening all. Gary said hello earlier. Right, this is this team is missing a lot up front. Yeah, and the management. We need to go and address the stuff up front and go and get. The word now is Ozyman or Sesko. Have you heard that one, Gary?
Ozyman and Sesko. I mean, we need to bring in
either one of those two.
If it's okay, I thought you said both, but we need to bring in at least one. But we need to bring in two and go from there. But
well,
I mean,
you're looking at. I think Napoli wants 64 million, or you're looking at 80, something like 70 or 80 million for Sesko.
And
we have not.
And last summer it was in the 50s, so you basically weren't able to get it across the line, and it cost you 30 mil. And for what? What has changed in reality to Sesko's play? He looks worse than he did last year. You know what I mean? So like you needed to get it across the line in the summer because that was your primary target, right? So we have to get our number one targets a lot more as opposed to now that it's an imperative. I mean, what if we had decided to spend a little bit more, maybe 60 in the summer, would have made the deal work? You know, because I don't know. I think like I said this before, whatever they sold Sesko on, and that's why he said no. I think that was poor salesmanship. You need to, you know, I think supposedly it was the amount of playing time he would get. And if you're coming to a big club, you're not guaranteed anything. But the reason why a team is looking at you is because they think you can do the job.
You know what? You know, I'm fearful. I'm fearful of if we got an Ozyman in, he would be clearly the recognized number one striker. Yeah. I'm fearful that Mikel Arteta would be afraid to put Havertz on the bench. That's what I'm fearful.
That's dumb. That's really dumb. That's really dumb. He's not a striker, Arteta.
Well, we have not had a striker in 3 years. Management
exactly. So when you bring one in, you use them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that is fair. You know, if you're fearful that your player might deceive one of your players, guess what? That's actually a good sign. It's actually a good sign when you can bring in a player that deceits one of your favorite players, because guess what that means? You're getting better. The problem that what we're trying to do here is get better with every transfer we make.
Did what I say seem alien or out of line to you? Because, you know, I've not, you know, I think Arteta would probably feel that way a little bit.
I know, and I think that's terrible thinking as a manager. Like if you were a manager for a company and your best salesman was, you know, you could bring in a better salesman based on their past experience, would you not do that? Because guess what? This salesman's been with you since day dot, right?
Yeah.
And now you can bring in somebody who's doing the same, if not better, elsewhere.
I would definitely
you go and get that other salesman.
Upgrade.
Right? What's better than having one good salesman? Two.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless you like to look like you're crying on the sideline.
There's no loyalty in this sport.
Mikel did not look happy on the sideline yesterday, so I hope that resonates through the club and Josh Kroenke, you know, sanctions something to happen. Loudmouth Football is with us again. A CDM can play in defense too, in my opinion. Yeah. The Liverpool have
it was bad defense from him regardless of where he was playing.
Yeah.
You don't leave the number one target on the other team alone when like if he thought he was going to put him off sides, well then he was wrong about that, because all he did was give him the outside all by himself essentially. So in both cases he was, you know, either your man mark your man. I don't think you let the striker run off your shoulder like that.
No.
And,
I mean, Watkins, he's really good at sniffing out a chance. We remember back in September when we beat Aston Villa that Watkins had two very presentable chances.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's another part to this. Remember when, I don't know if you wanted him or not, but remember when Tielemans was free agent, and people were like, "But he's not that good."
I wanted him,
and like we're watching him still play like he has played. He's probably not a full-time starter for us, but he would be an answer off the bench, and he'd probably be starting for us right now.
Well, he would give you something for sure.
You know, he knows timely goals.
Yeah,
right. He knows timely goals. He will take the shot from outside the box.
He's got vision.
Yeah,
and he's got that
and
vision as
he
well.
was free, so I don't know. Like the problems I think people see free and then go, it's probably not going to work. Well, free means you can use them exactly how you want, which means
Yeah,
you don't have to start him every game.
yeah,
He already knows where he stands in most clubs. If he wants to, if he wants to play for Arsenal, he has to understand that might be he might come off the bench, but he will get starts because he has won
yeah.
trophies,
Um,
or trophy.
Definitely. Fans coming with conclusions of Partey is not
Yeah.
a defender. That was schoolboy defending.
I mean, he is a defender,
Defense.
but that was poor. He had a poor one
Wow.
instance in the game, and
He's a
and we
midfielder, you know?
he's a C. He's more. We've seen him defend and clear out balls coming into the box from coming into the midfield. He has some defense about him. I think
Not in the finer details though, right?
yeah, but like marking a man isn't something that you haven't learned how to do in
Hmm.
football for as
Yeah.
many years as
Just
you've been playing.
football is about switching off as much as being alert. And Watkins was alert where Partey switched off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those are the margins that
Yeah. I mean, the
you
D
lose
in CDM is what?
defense.
Okay, I'm just making sure I understand. Like so when we say a CDM playing in,
Definitely. You understand
a
why.
CDM ain't a defender. I'm like, no, that's what he does. He's supposed to protect the back line.
And we're not doing right by Partey, Gary. We're not doing right by Thomas Partey because
Mhm.
he's one of our best midfielders. He has been probably our best midfielder.
And we're weakening our midfield, and we're weakening our back line, and then we're saying why these things keep happening.
As
I mean,
said here,
from Exhibit A last season
Partey's
against.
our best.
Think about it. From Exhibit A last season, we're up 2-1 against Fulham. All right, we are kicking a corner,
Yeah.
and they drew on us.
Yeah.
Right where Partey should have been.
Yeah.
But we're asking him to do too much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd rather put somebody else in the right back position that can actually can stay up with some of these players and let Gabriel support him than like treat Partey like he can do the right back by himself, which we've seen he can't.
Steven said, why did Tierney not start? Partey is our best six for our system. Arteta weakens two positions by playing Partey. Listen, that's the thing. Couldn't Tierney have played on the left? And maybe we play Miles Lewis-Skelly on the right.
I think Miles Lewis-Skelly could have done a decent job on wherever you play him. I think
so too.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like if you had Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly playing fullbacks, it's just a matter of maybe fixing your center back. If Kiwior is not an answer, then why do you still have him? Why didn't we sell him already?
More questions than answers.
But you know what? They'll say the left foot, right foot thing. You can't have two. Is it two left footers or whatever?
You
two
know
right footers, or whatever.
We both agree that losing 2 points is not preferable over playing a left-footed center back at right center back.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the 2 points back at the end of the season,
especially late in the game. We're not talking about for the full 90 minutes. We're talking about late in the game where all you have to do is make stops. You don't have to pull the ball from out of the back and push it up the pitch, and that's the reason why I think you have concerns. But we're trying to close out a game defensively, and everybody keeps saying we look tired. Well, if we're tired, why we keep leaving the same players out there?
Yeah, Steven said he put Havertz on a bus out of London. Never mind the bench. I think he could be a good bench player. He doesn't have to play all the minutes. He has been useful for the team, and I think if you got a premium striker, and you're then seeing Havertz coming on for 20, 30 minutes in the second half, or they're sharing games, then I think you'd feel a bit happier about having Havertz in the squad. Partey over 30 doesn't have the legs and consistent fitness to be running up and down the flanks. That's just not bright enough.
So we're gonna here we go. We're gonna get Saka back at some point, hopefully. Say we don't, but say we do get Saka back, right? And then will Partey be around? And then we're going to go, well, why is he out? He's injured again. Yeah, he's injured again because you're playing him too many times at right back. Like you're not getting
Yeah.
like you are wasting for me those opportunities for him to play in his preferred position by playing him at right back. And if the wheels fall off, then you're going to go, damn it, he's injured again. And it's like, well, yeah, and obviously he is. Like, and if Rice isn't the sixth that you want, which it sounds like he isn't, right? Zubamendi coming in as a six, right?
Yeah.
You just bought Rice for what reason? Because he's not an 8. And if Partey's a better 6 and Zubamendi's a better 6, then where are you playing Rice?
Well, I think the age profile of Rice will
Where are you
solve.
playing him? He can't play 8 and he won't be the starting 6.
There could be a double pivot. The two of them
We're going to
together,
Erdegaard,
Zubamendi and Rice together. You know what I mean?
If that's and then Erdegaard has to like do something he hasn't done, which is hopefully just distribute to everybody.
I think Partey's age is prohibiting him from probably being at the club from next season or 2 seasons from now. You know, barring the goals, Partey won all second balls, stirred turnovers, and was slick with his passing. But we're putting a bad spin on Partey because he's been played. We're not putting it. Arteta's doing it. He's putting Partey a right back. And we're condemning a midfielder for not defending well.
He can do it for 60, 70 minutes, but he can't do it a full 90. We're losing late in games, and then we're going, well, he played all right before the other team scored.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing every time.
Shoehorning the life out of his team.
And then we complain about, well, Saliba's out again, and that's why we lost. We lost to Liverpool because Saliba's out, and we're playing with a back line with this and that and everything. And then we're playing, I think you play the same way with your backups in, you're asking for trouble. I don't know what I'm 98% correct about.
Where's the 2%, Tom? Where's the 2%?
Yeah, well, that's another thing.
He wants us to ask that question.
You know what? I keep telling him I'm not giving him any shine. No shine, Mr. Tom. You need to tell me what I'm 98% correct.
He wants to tell us what that 2% is. He's already got it lined up. He's just going to hit the return key or the enter key. Who wants the Frankfurter?
Who's that? What is that?
I don't know. We're talking about Sesko. He's Leipzig, so I don't know about what the Frankfurter is. Hawkwind, but thank you for joining us. Saliba hopefully back in 2 weeks. The extent of that injury could be that he's going to miss two. He's going to miss 1 Premier League game and 2 Champions League games. Gary. We will need to have him back for that City game. It looks like City have started to regain a little bit of momentum against weaker teams, but they started to move again. Foden getting amongst the goals. Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, who's committed his whole life to Man City now with a 10-year contract.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is he really worth it? Is he worth that much? Because because
I don't know.
I mean, just because they had a good day today, and I was just listening to the game while it was playing. I wasn't able to see much of it, but it seemed he missed a couple of chances today, and
Yep. I mean, we can't tell what he's going to be like in 4 or 5 years from now. So to give him, I don't know why I feel like somebody said the Man City are future proofing because they know there's a transfer embargo coming down on them. They might know something that's coming out of these 115 charges. All right, question here from Stephen, Ray, and Gary. One question been how long we are on to the Arteta process. Would you agree with an Ancelotti or similar? We'd be winning this league this year. Yeah, listen, I think Mikel Arteta has made some glaring mistakes this season. Not the trust that he doesn't have in certain players is becoming a crutch. It's crippling us a little bit. Martin Odegaard goes out injured. You have earmarked a young academy player to take some of his minutes. Why should you not afford those minutes to him for 7 or 8 games, the time that Odegaard is out, rather than trying to put band-aids of a Trossard, a Rice, a Havertz, whatever in those situations. Um, Moneri has shown that he could step up. He showed a little bit of growth in saying when Bukayo Saka's out that one area could play there, but it's a little bit too little, too late. This persistence with Thomas Partey at right back, not being able to adequately adjust for injuries, has been an issue as well. So yeah, I think if Ancelotti would be at the club, I think it's fair to say would be in a better position. That's my take.
It becomes down to football knowledge and expertise, ruthlessness, and all that type of stuff. A more seasoned manager will do better than Arteta. I mean, most of his things are he's not making the moves when they make sense. Sometimes, like he won't see that the team is something's changing, and he needs to make a change with his subs, or he needs to make a change with his tactics, and he'll just go like this, like it's a my way or the highway kind of thing. And how I think this game will play out, which makes sense if you're one of the top teams with the top talents. We're not. But at some point, the other team will get a handle on the game, and at that point, you should be making a change to change it in your favor. I mean, think about what Villa did. They put in Digne in that game. I don't remember if he came in before or after.
Halftime.
Okay, but he
came in at halftime because the guy was on a yellow.
He came at halftime, and things
Malin
changed.
was on a yellow.
Things changed for us. I mean, we did score soon after in the second half, but for them things changed, and I don't know. So for me, it's either their tactics changed and they look better, or we weakened and we changed our tactics to hold on to a lead, thus putting more pressure on a defense that's suspect to begin with, as opposed to maybe putting pressure on them with the attacking. So yeah, no, I think a different manager would have done things differently with this squad, regardless of injuries. Yeah, Mr. Thomas, if you were me, you would be questioning your statement. Yes, because you aren't 100% sure about it. So then I want to know we want to know what's going on.
100% is 100%. 98 is not 100%. I'm just saying.
You got some questions there. Yeah.
When Ari was banging in goals, playing in the 10 and 9, he's an attacker, played a kid. I mean, if that's the plan you had for the start of the season, don't deviate from that plan. He didn't. When you set out in the summer, you don't know who's going to get injured. You don't know. You have an idea, maybe.
But you have to do what? You have to do what?
You have to prepare.
Exactly.
Plan together in situations,
and
right?
Why would you have to do that? Because the previous 2 seasons,
you had
barely had any injuries, and the one time you did have a significant injury, many will say you lost the league. So the only way to make sure that's not an issue is make sure that if that ever happens again, you have an answer, and it isn't, well, Saliba's out again, so now what? Right? I mean, like I said, like these are scenarios that are right in front of your face. You need to go into it. Yeah.
This is one we talked about. I mean, most of the fans have probably mentioned this at some point in time as an in-house solution. Martinelli's a forward, play him up top. There's so many options. This manager just too one-dimensional and too predictable. Martinelli could prosper through the middle, Gary.
You do something different, right?
Yeah.
We say that all the time. Let's try and do something a little different that the other team can't plan for, right?
We were forced into that by playing Martinelli on the right, just due to personnel situation. So we play Martinelli on the right. He gets on the end of a Trossard cross, who Trossard was immense yesterday. I thought he played really, really well. And to be credit, you would have wanted him to score that goal right at the end, but it's tough. He'd already provided 2. Partey and Marino were the issue, unfortunately, in this game, and You ask yourself why Arsenal get punished for the just switching off for 2 seconds in each instance. You know what I mean? But like you said earlier, Arsenal were 2-0 up. I think human nature. We thought we had done the job, and Villa players doubled down and are like, "We are not losing today."
And then we will go, well, it was really hard to score that one goal to take a lead late in the game. And it's like, well, obviously it's not. Obviously it can be done. We've seen Liverpool do it all season. That's why we think Liverpool will struggle. It's because late in games it's still like it's still a tie game, and they seem to pull it out every time.
Those Villa players were not going to be denied. Tielemans and Watkins.
They kept playing football. You got to play football for 90 minutes, and if you don't have players that can do it because they're fatigued, they're injured, or whatever, then you have to put somebody else in and maybe get them to stand up, for you. So I mean, I know Rice does some good things for us. I don't know where he goes now, right?
Rice seems to be a complete waste of 105 million. He doesn't suit our style at the number 6. He's not good enough number 8. I don't know what we do with him. I don't think Rice is the issue with this team either.
No, but then we're going to talk about, well, the whole thing is we spent 105 mil on him, and right now, at least a lot of fans are like, where does he play? That can't be the question you ask about a player you spend 100 mil for. Where does he play? You spent 100 mil on him. Where does he play? We are not City. We can't just put Grealish on the bench. But I'd rather put Rice on the bench if that means we get a better chance to win.
I mean, I'd play him at the 6, but Partey's...
He's not better than Partey. You let Partey go for whatever reason, you're going to dip in form unless Rice picks it up. He has to do things he hasn't shown he can do.
I would play a double pivot with those two, honestly, Partey and Rice. He gets a player and automatically wants to play them out of position. He'll get a striker. He'll get Osimhen, right? And he'll see if he can convert him to left or right wing.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to you don't want to move him out. He doesn't want to move
Mr. Tom was very magnanimous of him. He will accept a retweet of my "We All Love Leeds" show as an act of apology.
There's no apology. There's no people. You're not doing it for an apology. You don't get any of that.
Trust in me.
He was mean for not giving me 100% confidence. I have retweeted his show because I'm a friend, and that's what friends do. I'm 100% behind him. In all
not 98.
Not 98. I'm not holding back that 2%. I'm going all the way in on this one. All right.
Any changes made are done during a crisis, not a stroke of genius by the manager. Miles Lewis-Skelly's another happy accident. Yeah. I don't know if he's a happy accident. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly was.
Would he have played if we were down to our third, fourth left back?
Valid point.
Is he as good enough to be a starting left back for us?
Yes, he is.
So then, so based on what we've seen, has Arteta not seen this player in practice and all of that and not said, I might have a starter here? No, I'll keep playing. I'll put Zinchenko in ahead of him and stuff like that. And then when Zinchenko's out, I'll play him now. Oh, wait.
I think
this is we talk about the recruitment and whatnot of players. Do you not know what you got? Do you have to wait till the last moment to find out then where he can actually play football for you? Right? Like he wouldn't put him in.
I think players with their quality will come through in the end. Bradley as right back for Liverpool will mean that they'll probably say, Trent, you can go to Real Madrid. We have a player who can take your place. I think players come through in the end. It's not necessarily happy accident.
Well, you have to see that before they do.
Yeah.
As a manager, you have to see that before they do it.
I think he was in the squad for a reason, and maybe the reason was because we wanted to trim the squad down and use some of our academy players, but that was the reason why he was brought in.
You were trying to be his friend. I get it.
He was trying to be his friend.
Yeah, you are. You're trying to
I'm trying to be whose friend?
All right, Ted's friend.
No, I'm just.
You're actually trying to make it seem like he planned that.
Yeah, I think it was planned in the summer.
Yeah, like I said, you think that he did that on purpose.
Miles Lewis, Skelly, and one area,
So
were
the reason why I don't believe that is because when Erdegaard went out in the third game of the season, he didn't go to Nweri, who was supposed to be our number 2.
I mean, just because they're in the squad doesn't mean he didn't feel that the one area was the option to fill.
But he brought him on
Odegaard.
to play in a North London derby on the road.
He did.
So he brought Skelly on in a Etihad game with the team down a man, fighting for the life to secure at least a point, or actually secure 3 points, right? So,
Yeah.
like, if you have that trust in your players, you can't then turn around and go, he didn't know what he had. But because he actually shown that, he'll put them in those situations. They have shown that they're better than they can be played at any time. But you know what? Those are points we may have dropped before they had a chance to play, right? Do we see out that game with Brighton if we have a number 9, a number 10 playing in that role, right? I don't know.
Yeah, just checking my notes here.
Yeah.
I'm just looking back at that Tottenham game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So what was unique about it? Yeah, we didn't have Rice. Rice was suspended, right?
I don't remember how, but I just telling you when I first saw them come onto the pitch, and not only that, but you brought on Skelly with a yellow.
Yeah, we didn't have Mourinho and we didn't have Rice back then, and we played Partey and Jorginho together in midfield. Havertz in midfield. Trossard played up front, but yeah, we did have a situation where we had a bench at Tottenham, which was Neto, Kivior, Waneri, Jesus, Sterling, Miles Lewis, Skelly, Heaven, Kakuri, and Kabia. So, yeah, we had some injuries. And, Gary, it's been far too often this season that we have promising academy players filling the bench, and we know they're just there to make up the numbers, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, we can't have players on the bench if they're not going to be available to play. They need to be.
Well, they're fit. They're fit and ready to play, but he's never going to put them on.
Well, what's the point of Brandon putting them on the bench? We're not a team we're not like a charity case. We're not a charity team where here you get to wear a shirt today. No, we're trying to win. We're trying to win championships.
I wish he would be braver. I wish he would be braver and put some of these players on to make a name for themselves as well. But we know this manager is adverse to these things, the risks, right?
Yeah.
We'll take a few more questions and get out of here. Stephen said the question of where Rice plays is a direct indicator of Arteta and his choice of signings. Havertz is exactly the same. Poor number 8, not really a striker. That's 170 million and 2 players that are suspect. I think Rice has qualities that we can utilize. I think Havertz has qualities that we can utilize, but maybe at least in one of those cases, we need a premier striker to head Havertz. My worry would be if we bring Sesko in, he would deem Sesko as depth and continue with Havertz for the majority of the time. That's why maybe Osimhen, a very strongly premier recognized striker, should come in and take that number 9 spot.
Sesko cannot do any worse than Kai Havertz.
I know, but they would probably.
So to say that if he came in and he did the same things, I'd rather have a young player make those mistakes than an older player make the same mistakes, because the younger player will more likely would learn from it and has time to grow into the position.
Yeah. At West Ham, Rice had Souček, who did a lot of work in midfield with him. With Rice. Okay. Evening, everyone. Good to see you all again. Yeah. So, Gary, where obvious question. Where do we go from here? We go to the next game, right?
I really feel we should be trying to use this window while we still have it. It's while it's still open.
Yeah.
Like, we need to bring in some answers to questions. If we don't get the starters, then we need to get questions answered off the bench. So I kind of feel like we can't waste this window We need to. So like that's the one thing. Also, I feel like we're gonna either have to rotate some of our players, and I know, you play your strongest 11, but if your strongest 11 is players that, if you're what you consider your strongest 11 are players that are out of not necessarily out of form, but not fit enough to play your style, then you have to make sure you do something different, right? Yeah.
Rice will have Zubimendi doing all his work next season.
Yeah.
Listen, that Zubimendi thing, it's great to be excited about it and everything, but
Well, that's the
it's
problem, right? It's not
not
like
a
it.
done
He hasn't.
deal.
We haven't. Like for some reason, we don't want to sign. We don't want to get him to sign it. Like, can't we just do? I've heard players have signed for this summer. I don't know why we can't just do that. If we're going to do it, I personally think that work should have been done after January, not in the beginning of January, but to keep us happy.
And
Like, keep us happy. Wait till the summer. We'll be better.
the thing,
We're in the middle of a title charge right now. We need answers today.
the
You
thing
can't be
with
missing all these players and not think I might be able to get a player in that might support us. Like, we should be thinking about what's happening in January, not wait until the summer or June to make what we're going to do there. Like, Zubimendi sounds like he's coming to us, right? So if that's the case, in February, put a little bit more work into that and get the paperwork ready to go, and then it's more of a short deal. Right now, he doesn't have to come to us. It's all like it's a gentleman's agreement, right? It's nothing in
yeah,
stone.
the thing with Osimhen as well is that he was not wanted at Napoli. Conte got him out of there. He went on a loan to Galatasaray with the exact view of probably having a move in January. So, it's like something is just sitting there waiting for someone to go get him. And
Yeah.
I don't know why people have waited almost 3 weeks now before moving on a player that is reasonably priced at 65 million
Mm-hmm.
and is bound to score you some goals as well.
Yep.
Even if he will look raw in the Premier League, he'll still be an upgrade on Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, and Kai Havertz. Yeah, I bet we'll spend another 30 million on goalkeeper in the summer. Every 2 seasons, Arteta changes his number. I sort of led off with that one, Russ, at the start of the podcast. That our work last summer was less than perfect. We bought depth, and we didn't really solve the goalkeeper situation with Ramsdale exiting, and we picked up a loan in Neto, who is cup tied. Not that that's an issue anymore. Most likely, you know what I mean?
But it's an issue in the sense that you just wasted some monies. You could have just maybe just spend a little extra and get the goalkeeper you wanted. Because why not? They wanted that other goalkeeper and they want to spend a little extra, and now they just spent a little extra on a goalkeeper who more than likely is gone.
Steven said, for me right now, Arteta is going to live or die on Havertz. He shows absolutely no sign of writing off Havertz. We are 20 days into the window with no serious bids for a striker. And BX said, under Conte, both their superstars were moved on. That's kind of wild because we saw Antonio Conte make that press conference about Tottenham. He was a manager of Tottenham and basically he wanted out after a couple of seasons. Probably a situation that Andrew's looking at right now, Gary, as well at Tottenham, at that club. And, he's starting to realize that it's very, very difficult. Tottenham losing to Everton today. Villa had their new signing on the bench on Saturday. We haven't come close to signing anyone. That says it all. And this one is on Arteta, and this one is on the club. It's for all to see that we need a striker. We need reinforcements, maybe more than one person in January, but doesn't look like anything's happening right now. You know what I mean? All right. Any final thoughts, Gary? We go to the Champions League next. We're in a good position there. I think if we win one of the last 2 games, we're going to qualify in that top 8, and we should be able to navigate at least away from the playoff in that situation. We're looking at situations where each week that goes by is good for our injury situation, but each week that goes by is bad for our transfer situation.
Yeah, well, each day that goes by is definitely bad for our transfer because that means there's one less day to maybe get something over the line. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't. Arteta keeps saying we're short, but then we see nothing happening. So then, why do you keep saying that? Keep saying you're
He's
short, but
trying
then you don't bring anything in. So it doesn't matter who he's appeasing to.
well, he's trying to probably push the ownership to do something here.
Didn't Josh just fly over supposedly to help with that? That's what everybody's been saying. He's over here and what now?
He's been here since the North London Derby.
Yeah, so if he's not here to help you get the player, then why did he fly over?
Based on here's the banner below. We'll get out of here in a couple of minutes. 2 games ago, Liverpool they were exceeding last season's results by +5 points. Now Liverpool are +1, having dropped 2 points versus Nottingham Forest. 2 games ago, Arsenal were -7. Can you believe that? We're 7 points off the required results from last season. Now Arsenal are -4, so we did gain 3 points in that deficit.
And this
results.
is with 11 points drop from winning position. So, and I don't believe we can say injuries are the reason why we dropped those 12 points. We shouldn't be saying that. We should be like making adjustments to see out games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I think
time and time again. I mean, we can't let you're taking a lead in games. You need to see it out with what you got. Right.
And you need to make substitutions based off of trying to keep the scoreline at what it is at worst. If you're winning 2-1, you make the substitution to finish the game at 2-1, not draw 2-2. If you're leading 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, maybe we did make substitutions. I can't remember back that far, but you need to do something to stop Chelsea.
Think about it. If we were able to turn half of those draws into wins, where would we be right now? We would be sitting on the same points as Liverpool with a game in hand, and the fact that they actually play us.
Yeah.
Now we're the margins are not slim. We are just giving them away.
We're giving them away. We haven't paired these 9 points that we're talking about have been there since the beginning of December. We have not cut into that. We have walked hand in hand with Liverpool, and they've dropped the points that we've dropped. Over these 12 games. We are unbeaten over 12 games, but we have drawn 5 of those 12 games, which is not good. And finally, Liverpool have still to go to Manchester City, Bournemouth, Everton, Villa, Fulham, Chelsea, and Brighton. Those are the away days for Liverpool. We have a couple of difficult ones. We have to play City at home. We have to play Nottingham Forest away. We have to go to Manchester United away and Everton away. So, and of course, all of this is with the third last game in the season being Arsenal facing Liverpool at Anfield in the third last game of the season. We need to clear up our injuries. We need to get a player in the door because if we don't do those things, that third last game of the season at Anfield will mean nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they may win the league game before that. They may win the league 2 games before that, and they come in with not having to worry about how this game sees out. And they, we might win it, but I mean, absolutely nothing. So we have to put pressure on them, and the only way to do that is to win our games. Yeah.
Russ said players to go in either this window or the next: Neto, Tierney, Zinchenko, Kivior, Tomiyasu, Partey, Jorginho, and Jesus, and Sterling as well. He added that, and Sterling. I didn't see that one, Russ. Champions League, I have no faith that we get any points in the remainder of this stage. Okay, listen.
I like to think Villa is a better team than General Zagreb. So if that's not true, then you can tell me. But I feel that we are playing. We're not playing a team that's as tough as Villa. And if
Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah, I think we'll have a little bit of an easier time in these two Champions League games.
Mhm.
Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home will be a tricky one. We should have enough to beat them, and we hope that William Saliba gets fit and Ben White gets fit, and
Mhm.
because Saka is not requiring crutches right now, he's able to walk under his own steam right now, but obviously needs more time to get ready. Hopefully, we see him in March. Gary, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on the trip tomorrow.
Yep. We'll be on tomorrow, chatting it up about what we just saw. Letting another day go by, and we'll see if we have different thoughts or with the same thoughts. But then
Maybe
also,
there's
we still have
maybe
two
we'll
games.
have a striker tomorrow. Maybe
That would be nice to talk about. The future of our team. So yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have some hope maybe for tomorrow. That's
Mhm.
it. As Arsenal fans, maybe we'll wake up each and every day hoping that there's a bright light shining somewhere for all of us. A disappointing one against Unai Emery and Emmy Martinez especially. We wanted to put one over on both of them, but Aston Villa, you know, we seem to exchange thorns with them. We're the thorn on their side, they're the thorn on our side.
Gotta play
Lot
90 minutes.
Got to play 90 minutes, and you got to get fit again. And I think we need some help as well because this top four race is going to hot up, and the relegation is going to hot up as well. So we'll be crossing swords with teams that are in both situations in the remaining 16 games for us. All right, we're out of here. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Come on, you Gooners. Hopefully, better days ahead, and
Yeah,
we
thank you.
maybe Gary, we can string more than 3 wins together
That'd be
this
nice.
before the end of the season. Take care,
That'd
everyone.
be nice.
Yeah.